Hey guys. I am back. Okay. Let's move back over to the screen here. Now I'm trying a new setup here. Thank you very much. Trying a new setup here. We're gonna see if it works. I'm a little dubious about it. I think I could set this down one more peg and make it work. Maybe. No. Yes. No. Maybe. Thought I did this before I got on stream. Didn't happen. Okay. I have to scooch back. Oh boy. This is why you test things before you get back on, guys. Apologies. Let's see if we can get that to where I want it. Got a very specific, particular setup I like. Where my left hand is on the WASD keys, which allows me access to the QWERTY keys for Maya. And a bunch of room on the right side for my mousing needs. Various goods. Okay. So, this is what we're going to be working on. And I think... You know what? Let me try something here. I think there's a way for me to bring that up and put that in the bottom left corner. Pretty sure I've done that before. Reference image. Alright. That'll work. Aha! Okay. Give me a hot second here, guys. I'm going to do something I probably should have done yesterday, but wasn't able to. Alright, this is under digital content, professional, streaming, Bombeer General, Maya. My god. The file navigation is getting a little out of control here. Okay. Oh my god, I can't read who that is. Thank you for the follow. Oh, I really can't read that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. If you want to speak up and say your name, that's fine. If you want to remain silent, that's perfectly fine as well. I am going to get this reference image. Oh, I locked it. That's why. Oh my god, it's huge! Why didn't you just tell me it was huge? Alright, we'll put that on the right-hand side here. Perfect. Okay. And then Shapoopy. The one for me. Alright, so that's going to remain there indefinitely. And hopefully that'll give you some idea of what I'll be doing. Shabam. Alright, hopefully give me some idea of what I'm doing. So, first thing to think about is this is going to be a spiral design, but for modeling, I think it makes sense to start with it straight. So we're going to model a straight side that tapers at either end and gets fat in the middle. And then somehow, I guess we're just going to have to build polygons around it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll be fine. So first things first, we're gonna start with this cube, as per usual. And we're gonna put into edge mode, turn off soft select, like our good friend was dealing with earlier. I think it was Taco, right? And from there, we're actually gonna make use of some selection. You can double click an edge loop to get it selected. If I can get this any closer. There we go. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and do a nice bibbidi-bobbidi like that. Cool. Now one thing we can do in order to get this the way we want it, I just want these bottom two, so maybe we go like that? Maybe. It's a little extreme, but yeah. Ain't looking too shabby. And we can get those to taper down to about yay, and then maybe they go up and down a little bit like yay. Okay, alright. Getting there, getting there. So that'll be that edge. This will be the interior, but we're gonna need a second set of lines. Okay, so we need to add in some supporting geometry right there. I'm still using the other tool, criminy crippity. There we go. Now I'm going to go like so, and we're gonna grab probably these faces again and bring those in to get the right shapity-dapity going here. We'll grab these two faces now. Caps lock is on. Great. My favorite. And then we'll sink this down. Nope. No, we're not. Okay. Tell you what. We are going to extrude it and offset inside a little bit. And then we're going to extrude one more time and put the thickness down. So in the end, we end up with this sort of... don't look too hard at it. We end up with this situation. So we're gonna roll with it. Don't stare at it! Oh, that's not gonna make it much better, but it is what it is. So we're gonna add in some supporting geometry because I want it to be a bit more like that. And yeah, how about like that? Okay, then we'll grab just this side and we're gonna shunk it up and down. And we'll also do the same thing for these two faces. Shunk is absolutely a specific word. Don't at me. Don't at me. Don't at me, bro. And this is going to become a very, very small tip. And that's the side we're going to curl in. So I'm going to soft select and drag this out because it's going to need to curl in, which means we're going to need a ton more geometry. Which is fine. It'll be good enough for now. And then we'll do two more there and one there. Now I don't like where that placed that, but that's okay. We can just slide edge tool. That'll give us some context to where sensitivity going on. And we'll do that here as well. Not a fan, so. Now we've got some fairly regular geometry, which increases where it's going to spiral. And when we smooth it, that's mildly better. I think we need to address down here a bit more. And I'm not quite sure what I want to do, but I think it involves adding two more edge loops. So we'll do a central, and then we'll do one here and one here. Then we'll go back and we will delete this entire edge group. Good. Okay. So what that leaves me with is this line of faces we can work with. Yes, good, good. I'll pull that down and we'll see what that does to that. I think I like that better. Okay. So, with that taken care of, we do have some interesting issues beginning to crop up here. One thing I like to make clear is the faces of the geometry that we're working with. Now right now, I think one thing I need to do is go into symmetry mode and start working these guys up a little bit. And what that's going to let us do is make it clear the geometry that we're attempting to... I'm just going to wait until I finish this, I'm sorry. I'm not going to make any sense until I do. Essentially, I want this line to be somewhat more straight. And I was using symmetry, so we got the same exact movements on the other side. Okay. Raise that up a little bit like that. And I think that's good enough. Because one of the issues I'm running into now is I don't have a connecting line here. Oh, how interesting. Okay, so we'll just fix that. At least we'll try to fix that. Why is it blue? Why are you blue? You're supposed to be red. Why are you blue? I've got symmetry on. And you can't do this sort of thing with symmetry on because then it tries to do it to both sides simultaneously and it just does not work. Okay, so we've cut our line, which is good. And I'm gonna get this and we'll just drag it down a bit like that. Alright, we're gonna turn symmetry back on. And that's gonna let us have what we were doing before, where it sort of goes down, right? And so now we can have that large edge. And you'll see sometimes that that's just what Maya does. It decides that you're not going to be able to actually have a full edge loop, and you'll just refuse. You'll just outright refuse to do what you think it wants, what you want it to do, and you just have to live with it, work around it. Maya can be temperamental sometimes. Okay, that's good. I like that. Okay, so that's somewhat organic. Let's go ahead and actually save this piece. Okay. We got a little bit of creasing down here, which is less than ideal, but not the end of the world either. Oops. There we go. I mean, that's okay. It looks not great from afar, but yeah. One thing we could do is cut in another line that goes along here. This is not as straight as I was hoping it would be. I think there's a tool that helps you get straighter edge loops, but we're just gonna eyeball it. It's pretty good. We could cut in another one here and down the center line and get a point going. That might be what we want to do, but let's try the simpler thing first. Always try the simple thing first, which is to say a soft selection of these guys. Let's try some vertices first. Okay. One nice thing, I tend to work with my selection tool being able to cut through geometry. So you see I got these guys and those guys, but I also got the things directly behind it. I find that very useful. And one thing that's nice is if you hold down tab, it does the opposite selection idea in addition to letting you draw your selections. So what I mean by the opposite idea is if I draw my selection, it's only going to be based on what's closest to the camera and what's visible to the camera. Whereas the other option is to have a selection where you draw a marquee and it goes and gets all of them. You can apply the tab selection idea of only selecting what's visible to your marquee selection as well. I just happen to like it better this way. Tips and tricks. Okay. And coffee. Always coffee. That looks horrendous. That looks pretty bad too. But it's much closer. That is a shape I want to go for. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave what we have there. And go back, turn off soft select, and just deal with these points. Yes. We want them to have a similar vibe. We want to continue that shape going down. And I think we'll leave that like that. Yes. I think I'm pretty okay with that. With the small exception of these guys. Should be pulled forward. And then nestled in a little bit. Like that. Okay. Alright, I think that's enough work on that part. The only other thing I was thinking about was differentiating, or I should say like delineating the difference between the bark texture area and this texture area. So what I'm gonna do just for now is to, I think we'll just grab this entire edge loop actually, which I need to finish cutting in apparently. Maya, doing me dirty like this. What a mean program. No. Caps lock again. Alright. That's fine. Okay, then we'll take this and we will do a similar thing on this side. But I think I want to increase that a bit, because I want that to be a connection point to the tree. Looks a little goofy and unsubsurfaced, whatever, but that's fine. Yes, back to this. So now I can get an entire edge loop selection. Let's just make sure that's the case. It is looking good. Okay. I'm going to use a tool that I used last night called the crease tool. I'll give you a hot second to look at that. It's under mesh tools and then crease tool. And what that does is any edge you have selected, it will harden that edge non-destructively. So you can always go back and use this to sort of crispify any edge that you'd like. So let's go ahead and start. That's create polygon. That's what that is. Crease tool. I'm going to reselect that edge. I'm going to go to subdivided mode. In it. And as I drag the middle mouse button left and right, we're going to see that edge get a bit crunchier. We'll do the same thing up here, just so we can see what's going on. And now when I deselect everything, this is not the best version of it. Or I need to add in some more supporting geometry. There's just not enough there to do the job. But yeah, dude, this is a good tool. Oh, I'm just moving it. That's right. So we're going to turn off the creasing on this, and instead we'll do it the old way, which is adding in more edge loops. It's fine. I thought I just... Hold on. There we go. Now it's not creased at all. Okay. So the only downside to this that I can think of is if you use this, it doesn't translate to other programs. So if you need something to look a certain way in Unity, so you know, you'll have to do it the old way, which is this way, where we're adding in edge loops. Just to have the added support of the geometry. There might be some other things that work better that I'm not aware of. But that's exactly the problem, is that I'm not aware of them. Okay, and that actually didn't do it on this side, so we'll have to do some work. Alright, come on. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna have to really get in there. Do some edge work here. That's better. Oop, too much. Okie dokie. That's actually not looking too terrible there. Okay, so what that's done is we now have that like seam along the sides here. And what I want to do from here is add a bit more like, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to use the slide edge tool some more. And we'll just slide that closer to our other edge in order to get a sharper seam out of it. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, alright, so that's pretty good. What else do I want out of this? You know what I think I'm missing? I think I think I want this and its surrounding edges. Oh boy. Here we go. This is exactly why I keep the marquee tool the way it is. Lets you do additive and subtractive selections until you get exactly what you want. So I am going to make it wider there and then have a sharper drop off to the bottom here. Yes. Yes, I think this is what I want. Yes, okay, that's enough. Alright, so the last thing to do as far as I'm concerned, I know I'm going to say that a couple more times, but whatever, right? I'm going to do one more growth here. Okay, is that the selection that I want? I believe it is. Yep. Is that the same over on all these sides? Yes. No. No, it's not. And that's fine. Cool. Whoop. Oh boy. Sorry about that. Okay. Having some technical difficulties here. I just was using Photoshop, where everything is just slightly weird compared to Maya and other 3D programs. So I keep pressing Z for zoom and stuff like that instead of just Alt for everything. Alright, let's do a translation and see if it looks the way I expect it to. Not quite. So there's some selection up here that I wasn't thinking about. Yep, right there. Yeah, we'll just go through. Hold down the Control key to remove selections. We'll try that again. Good. Look for a regular band of geometry. Excellent. So I've got exactly what I want selected. So I'm going to go to create a set. I'm thinking a quick select set just for my sake here. Create set quick selects. There we go. This is going to be the bark underside. Yes. And I believe I can just invert this and create another quick select set. You do all that work, might as well use it. What did I call it? Shiny? Slick. Slick. I don't even remember what I called that. What the heck did I call that? Slick faces? Oh lord. Slick side. I'm just gonna go slick side. Okay, underside. That's what I called it. That's kind of close. Okay, so what that's gonna let me do is just go to my select, go into the quick select set. Wish I could do that. And now I can. What was I gonna do with this? I don't know. I don't know quite what I was thinking anymore, but I definitely just want to do something like that. I want it to shimmy down a little further. One thing that I'm noticing is that I definitely want this to be up here. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we have a similar issue over here. Okay. Okay. Got a bit of a humpback whale situation going on there. A little mouth here. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. This is a very pleasant shape I've created. It's almost aquatic when you look closely. It's definitely something else when you look closely, but it's got a nice distinguishing mark here so that the textures will be clear and crisp, even when it's subdivided. Got a nice little nesting area for our weird gooble gobbles. In fact, I am going to do a quick select set on that as well. I think that'll serve us well. gonna try a different technique here. Let's go do. So what I did there is I selected from here to 2 before what I needed up here, or maybe this one, and that way when I expanded out twice, it went up, up, as well as going out, out, and I got exactly what I wanted. And if you aren't aware, the greater than and less than symbols are your quick shortcuts for growing your selection and minimizing your selection. So if you just do a shift period, shift comma, wherever your greater than and less than symbols are, that's a shortcut key for growing your selection exactly one component out from your current selection in all directions. So I don't think we want them on the sides, actually. That was an oversight on my part, so we're just going to take that out. The quick way to do that, of course, is to hold shift and then double click to the adjacent object, and that'll give it a direction to go. And if there's an edge flow working correctly, you can select in rings that way as well. So yeah, helps give Maya some more contextual information about like what direction you want the ring selection to go in. So that's always nice. All right, create, set, quick select. This is going to be for the MASH network. What the heck should we call this? Buds placement set. Sure. Okay, so let's save this. And I suppose we can give it a test run here. So let's just move it over to the side and model some little thingamadoodads, and yeah. Okay, we'll use a MASH network and see how it goes. So we want something with some... I think we want a pyramid with a little extra geometry. When I said test run, I immediately thought we were going to throw it into the water. Because it's very canoe-like. Absolutely. What am I doing? I want to create a polygon primitive, and I want not a cone, I want a pyramid. Good. Alright, so we're just going to drag that over. Well, how about that? That's a problem. I had not accounted for this behavior. Well, let's just make the best with what we've got going on here. So, using this, we can get something like that. Ooh. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but what if more? But what if more? Is the real question I need answered here. Okay, and then we'll grab this guy as well. Pull him right in there. How much are you gonna make me do that? Okay, this is not working. Okay, go back to our smaller scale and just start adding some geometry, I guess. This is not gonna work. Okay. New plan. New plan. We're going to take these three faces and delete them. It did not like that. So we'll do one at a time instead. And then we're going to turn this into a 4-point. We're going to turn this into 2 quads connected to the seam. To do that, we're going to use the multi-cut tool. And we're just going to cut in some lines at 70% and 30%, or 70-70. Oh. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Go into our selection set here, Control Delete. Okay. We will give a crap because that is shenaniganerous. Press Enter and Enter. And then from there, we can take both of these guys and sort of give a little bit more of a turny turn to it. Meanwhile, we'll take these guys, pull them way back. Okay. How do we want to take care of this? Let's try just extruding it and seeing what happens. Okay, that's closer. That's much closer. So let's keep going with this. We're gonna go up. Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh boy. What did I do? Okay. Okay. Everything's fine, guys. But we do want this to be quite a lot taller, so we're just gonna keep going thusly. And then let's bring this guy back over so we can start getting an idea of what size we need it to be. And we're going to need to scale it down based on the polygon size. I know there is a way to do it, but I don't remember what the way is. I'm going to turn on wireframe on shaded. It's under the shading tab here. And that's just going to let me see this guy, so I can size our whatchamadoodle to it. Perfect. Move him into position. Okay. Maybe we can go even smaller. Okay. So we do want quite a bit of thickness at the bottom and for it to thin out up top. So let's just start with that. I want them to take up most of the polygon to start with. Not all of it, but most of it. Get those guys there. Put this one down here. Okay, and these guys could stand to go down a little bit, while this one goes up a bit. Okay. Let's try extruding this. That was just that. Okay, so we're gonna go like that. Which is not exactly the behavior I was hoping for. We do want that thickness like that. Okay, we'll grab this line, find out what it looks like in 3D when we pull it back. Like so. Let's rotate this bad boy. Like that. Okay, okay. Starting to get something here. Alright, let's grab our vertex down here. Pull it up. And push it in like that. We're going to need to add some supporting geometry around the base here. We'll do that in a hot second. Get that down like that. And then we'll do 2. Okay. What? PogChamp? Why PogChamp? What'd I miss? What'd I miss? Okay. And then I think we can scale this down a little bit. How are we doing with this? Okie doke. So let's take all of these guys and pull them in. And we'll take this and put it down like that. Because the goal coming up here is to have enough supporting geometry to rotate this around. So this is eventually going to be over here. And this will be up here. And this will be here. And that'll be there. This looks pretty awful at the moment. Okay, we'll grab these guys, pull them down here. Grab these guys, this one down here. This is where it just takes a lot of time and effort and attention to detail. Can't quite understand that geometry. There we go. So we'll grab all these guys. I'm gonna rotate them. Oh, no. Huh. Tell you what. We're just gonna rotate them like that. Grab all these guys, and we're going to perform something similar. Okay, this needs to kind of go up here though, a bit like that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's doing all right. Definitely need some more geometry down here, though. Because I definitely want these guys. You know what? I'm going to go into isolation mode now. Okie doke. So I want these to begin back here, actually. Which means I want these guys kind of like that, I hope. And we'll bring this guy a little further forward, just to kind of complete the trifecta, so to speak. I feel like I've gotten a little overzealous, and I don't quite know how I want to remedy this. Okay, tell you what, we're gonna do this, because I don't want to get this line too far away from its connected line interior. So we might just have to cut in another line here, which will help with this. Get this up here. And we'll start aligning these guys a bit more with their associated elements in here. And that'll just help things along. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Yeah. I think we'll bulge this side out a little bit, actually. Yeah. 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 It's not half bad. Save. Okay. I think we're not there. We're not at the original idea. So we need to bring it back a little bit. And I think my problem with it at this point is this interior bit should actually be in line with the other pieces, which means it's getting shallower and shallower at a very quick rate. Kind of like that. And we can pull it kind of up like this so it's got a little bit of a crevice going on. But I think most of it should be back here. And we'll just pull these down a little bit. Kind of going against my principles here, but not strongly. Okay, so those two should stay in line with the bottom here and be much further back, I think. Okay. That's definitely better. That's definitely better. For giving a rock more style or looking more natural, do you think transform component on the faces and vertices is a good idea? For giving a rock more style or looking more natural, do you think transform component on the faces and vertices is a good idea? I think I need a little more information. Are you talking about a tool? Or are you talking about which component type to be selecting for rocks to be more natural? I think I could use a little more context on that. I think I have a response if you can't clarify, but yeah, the tool. Okay, transform component. Let me save. Are you thinking about that thing where you basically get a plane, step it up, and then we just use the transform tool under the mesh. Is it the mesh tool? Is that a mesh? There it is. And then just use the random value. Where'd it go? Aha! Oh. Didn't have my vertexes selected, apparently. No? What's going on here? Move vertex. Random. Pivot X. Let's see. Polygon move, select it. Huh. Yeah. I missed my opportunity to use the gizmo with it, so we're gonna have to do something a little different here, which I think is local translate Y. Nope. It's probably Z then. There it is. So that's the effect that happens. It's pretty much a Brownian noise affecting the vertexes. And it can be really nice for quick and dirty things. So I would definitely use that when you're blocking things in. It's a little harder on, say, a cube. Let's try that out. So let's make this substantially bigger. Let's smooth it a couple times here. Okay. So let's call this the beginning of our rock. I'm going to smooth it down a couple more times to get some texture. Even one more time. Okay, so we'll apply the same tool to it. Let's say you do a little sculpting on it first, right? So you go in with this guy, create some stipple effects. We want kind of a hard edge at some point here. So we'll just grow this here, and then we'll even these two sides out. And we'll get a couple chiseled sides. We'll get this bottom some nice planes. Anyway, let's just say you keep doing that, you end up with a nice rock. And then you use the transform component idea. Let's get some nice nuggets here and there. Not thinking too terrifically hard about this. I just want to get that texture on pretty much the whole thing. So we've got some piece of ore, some nuggety goodness going on here. I'm going to give it like a really deep spot here. And we'll build up the walls here. Anyway, yeah, they're pretty cool. I like the sculpting tools on this thing. So let's say this is your very interesting, crazy, normal thing. Then we go to mesh, I think edit mesh, transform. So one issue you run into is you can do it, it's perfectly valid. You have to be careful which axis you work on though. The blue one, the Z, is typically what is defining the normal value. So if you've got a bunch of angles on your polygon that are even remotely close to 90 degrees, say like up to 70 degrees, they'll quickly intersect one another. See, we're getting that right in here. As we go further and further, they start to intersect like that. So you can only get so much out of it. So it could be a good way to get a baseline shape if you do some simple geometry and then smooth the crap out of that and then use this. That might work. But you straight up box modeled it. I've been there. I've done plenty of rocks and trees that way. The sculpting tool is just a different approach, you know what I mean? So you need a high density mesh to get away with that. Like this is pretty low still. I would say sculpting it, and then for the sculpting, and once you box modeled it, you can just smooth it, and then keep adding geometry to keep the basic shapes you wanted until you've got enough geometry to where you can use sculpting, and then you can go into double-click the stamp tool under the sculpting shelf here. That'll bring up the tool panel, and you can go into the stamp and just pick a stamp. Bring it up here. So right now I have it on this kind of interesting shape, which is the leaf vein var. And most of the time people are going to use that to impart a texture on something without moving it too much. You could go to brick tile texture, acid metal, I think something for rocks. It's a bark one. Cracked fern might be good. You could just put a stone texture on it, but that's not going to be exactly what you want. I'd probably go with like bark or something like that. Or maybe even just dirt. Anyway, you can use pick up a stamp paintbrush and just go for it. Some other randomness. No, randomness is really hard. The best way to get random rocks is to sculpt them yourself, like just a couple variants of it. Say six versions of a rock. Basically, you make one rock from scratch, and then you duplicate that rock, and then alter it until you don't recognize it. So that way you don't have to do it from scratch every time. And then do the same thing like 6 to 20 times. And then from there, when you place them around in the environment, maybe using a mesh network with some fall off to make it easy on yourself, you'll have the ability to randomize when they're put out. And there should be enough of them that when turned around and like rotated and stuff, shouldn't be completely obvious that you're reusing the same rock, 20 times. So that's my suggestion for getting around that in general. Yeah, it's kind of rough. Oh, this looks weird. All right, so I suddenly have 1 million selection groups. That's less than ideal. Why? Why? Okay. Yeah. So I'll show you that in a quick second here. I'm gonna probably... Yeah, I'll just do a demo of it in a second, but for now, I'm just gonna place these guys. So I have my weird thing. I'm just gonna ignore the rest of that for now. It's got a bunch of history, but I want to zero that out. And before that, I think I'm going to smooth this model. I'm going to make a copy, and I'm going to smooth that model. I'm just going to hide that for now. So that way I don't have to worry too much about it. Good. Okay, dokie. And then when we smooth that, it'll be nice and organic. Real quick, for giving it more geometry, do I just add more loops? So before... Jesus. Before you start just smoothing it, if you remember from earlier when I was adding more geometry to it, let me hide this guy. Go back to this one. So this isn't perfect. In fact, I should, in the final version, be adding in another piece of geometry here. You want your quads to be as close to the same size as possible, because as you smooth it, let's just do another one of these guys as an example. We'll smooth it and then we'll do a couple iterations. So the first round, it looks okay. Everything sort of gets more lines. It looks okay, but you do see that these faces are half the size of these faces. And as we get smaller and smaller, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but you're gonna have... And this one actually worked out pretty well. Shot myself in the foot there. But generally speaking, before I added this these other lines in down here, if I didn't have those at all, let's just see. I think there's a way to just delete it that way. Yeah. So let's say we had that, right? And then we smoothed it. And we go up a bunch. That still does a pretty good job, but you'll see that scaling from the top to the bottom. And then down here especially, we get these crazy density on the edges here. That's what you want to avoid. That makes texturing very, very difficult, and it's hard to recover from that. So, all that to say, just make sure that when you do start adding more smoothing, you've got a regular geometry flow. This is about as bad as you can get away with. Yeah, because I didn't even add a line here, which if I had done that, maybe two, actually. Two more lines on these sides here would have gotten the size of the quads closer to this one. So just as a quick example, just something like that on both sides. It doesn't have to be perfect or even good, but just the fact they're there when you start smoothing it. Let's duplicate this. Whatever, we're gonna undo them. And then we'll hide this guy. And smooth it. We'll see if this does a better job. Okay, let's turn on shading with wireframe. Yeah, so it's much better, but we're still much higher density down here than up here, but at least it's close. And this part is very similar to this part, so you can... Anyway, that's about it. I just want you to be cautious, that's all. I belabored the point a little bit there, but hope you forgive me. Come on. Yes, that's exactly it. Staying consistent is really eyeballing it. If I was being really good, I would delete these lines and the interior lines and have these connect up and over this edge, because that's what makes the most sense in my head. But then you would... No, don't do that. Forget that. Because that would end up with triangles and pentagons, or at least ugly quads. This is a good cut. But staying consistent, that's always a hard question. If I was being good, I would just start cutting in geometry so that it looks like squares here, which would usually propagate to squares up here, and just try to scale them to around the same size as your smallest ones. It really is just something you do with time, and you're going to end up with some issues. Like, if you make these sides have similar size quads to these, because the exterior is getting the same number of lines as this interior, the interior is going to have a bunch more geometry that you won't need. So, in some situations, it's just hard, and you just have to make sacrifices. Usually, I err on the side of having less geometry if I can possibly help it, which is what happened here. Just so that way when I smooth it, I have less geometry, you know? It's a hard one. It's a hard idea to encapsulate quickly. It's one of those things you kind of just pick up after doing it a lot. And being conscious of trying to keep a certain regularity. I don't have a better suggestion than that. Bit of a problem. Anywho, let's go ahead and move ahead with this. I'm going to make a copy, save. I'm going to delete the history on this guy. And, oh yes, I was going to use Pyramid 2. Okay, so this guy's already subdivided. Very hard, yeah. Yeah, I hope they help. The tips. Yeah, let's see. This is one thing I don't particularly like. We've got some weirdnesses going on here, so I'm going to see if I can get my symmetry on. Yes, still works. And I just want to get this closer to inline. So after you subdivide something, after you smooth it, always make sure that it still makes sense. Yeah, at some point here, I'm going to have to flatten out this base. Yeah, no, we're just going to leave it. Alright, so I want that. Okay. Alright, then we'll push this forward about to here. We're following the general lines of the polygon. It's going from this way to this way, and we're just going to try and make all the lines matchy that way. And I'm also taking into consideration the flow of this line. Then we're landing here. Okay. And I'm noticing that it's dipping down a little bit, so I'm going to tuck it up. We'll keep a similar height here, but we are transitioning into a point here. So I do need to go up. And what's weird about this model is that this is actually a corner, and this is sort of just a line on the face, so it's got all kinds of wonkiness going on there. This would be difficult to texture properly. Modeling is its own beast. There's a lot I still need to learn, absolutely. I've been doing this for quite a while, not professional or anything, and there's a lot to learn. There's still so much for me to learn, you know? I don't think I'll ever be done. There we go. So you really want to consider these things from as many axes as possible. And I'm noticing, I'm never going to see it from the bottom, so I'm going to leave this probably, but there is some interesting shading going on. That's caused by this sort of angle point here being in a perpendicular line. I think ideally you would either choose to go down like this or like this. Oh, goodness. I'll be right back in just a quick second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Nothing quite like finding an ant on your arm and just not wanting to smash it on yourself, so you gotta walk it out and... Good times. Anyway, so one of the problems we were running into with this guy is that because this is a corner edge, it helps with texturing to define it as either a quad like that or whatever, because then the texture gets applied a little bit more understandably. I don't know. That one's harder for me. I don't have a solid decision on how I handle these situations. So, but it's on the foot, which makes this part a little bit less vital. I'm gonna turn off symmetry. Okie dokie. So, now we got that question all settled. I'm going to place it based on its center line here. So I'm gonna grab this guy, go there, and we'll take this, snap it to the center like that, and maybe, oops, maybe we'll snap it down to there. Let's see how that looks. Oh. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now we've got its center point basically in line with its center of mass, which is kind of nice. I think... I do kind of want it to go down into the other thing a little bit, so we're going to go with that. And then the other thing we're going to do is group this and put its pivot point at the exact same position, basically. But grouping it allows us to modify that position later if we want to. So, very handy little thing there. Pedal group. Okay. So, let's go ahead and clear history and modify freeze transformations. Okay, result. Nope, didn't happen. Modify, freeze. Make identity. Good. Good. Okie dokie. So now that we have the group there, I'm going to hold down X, which snaps things to the grid. And now we are smack dab in the center of our entire scene, which is very nice. So we'll go ahead and modify freeze transformations on the group now. Everything looks pretty well set up for us to go for a mesh network. I guess there's no point in waiting now. One thing we will have to do is do some fall-offs to make the scaling appropriate. So that'll be interesting, but let's just do it. Okay. No. Oh god. Oh, I'm all freaked out about ants now. Just the best. Okay. Open up our attribute editor, go to the distribution node, mesh it up, and what's this called? P cube. Okay. Once again, I don't know why there are so many of these. They just seem to multiply for some reason, and I just don't get it. But we need to get the buds placement set and put it into the selection set. Okay. That's weird. Sure. Let's flood the mesh. Okay. I guess we're not going to flood the mesh. Wow. I'm just going to eyeball it. So I want as many before they start turning sideways like that. Perfect. Okay. It really is fitting for that. Okay, so one of the nice things about what we did was we put this object inside a group. So if we rotate it, we can get them all facing in one direction. Aha. Perfect. Okay. So, next trick. Gotta save, because it could crash at any moment. Is to do some scaling in the ramp. So we're not gonna ignore the ramps. Okay. And I just want the scale ramp. Okay, so I want that one there, I want this one here, and I want this one here. Except I don't. Cool. This is gonna be a trip, guys. Oh good, it's it's in a line from here to there. Oh, that's less than ideal. Okay. So where can we put these things? To make the biggest impact. Okay, right there. And right there. Oh boy. Let's do this. Hopefully this will be easier. Oh my Lanta. Okay, so that makes those... Nope, nope. Okay, so we want those there. Okay, right here. So we'll do another set here. You know, I could use a fall off for this thing. There. Okay, at least now things make sense. What is happening in the middle there? Okay. Definitely want that. Cool. Okay. Right there. Okay, 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 okay. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Right, yep. Something like this. Okay, I'm starting to get something here, guys. I think. Ooh. This ramp is something else, I'll tell you that. Okay, tell you what, we're only going to use one for there, and then we'll just ease that on in. Can I make this bigger? Oh, thank God I can make this bigger. Okay. So to explain a little bit of what's happening here, you can use ramps to control a little more precisely how things are affected by the mesh network. Do I need to do this here? Maybe a little higher. Kind of like that. Which means I probably can bring it closer like that, and that can come like that. there. There. So I want these to be basically the same size here. Okay. You need to shift over here, I think. Ooh. Now I want those center ones to be the tallest, so we're gonna just bring these peaks down on either side. And hopefully that'll give me the context-sensitive thing that I'm hoping for. Okay. Is there any way to select? Nope, 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 nope. One by one it is. So I'll put that over here, put that over here, put this over here. Oh, Lord. And then we have a little bit more room to do this peak, which is here. And this peak should be there. Oop. Oh, I did the wrong one. Darn it. This is weirdly exhausting. I want this one? Yeah, I want this one. Right there. I want that one there. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, we can get rid of that one. We'll start here. Nope. That's a bit better. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Wow. It's a cool method of controlling shapes. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. I'm having a bit of a time with this. What is going on here? What is controlled by that? Really? Huh. So those will be the right side. Okay, okay. Okay. Got it, got it. Got a nice smooth thing there. What's this guy doing? That's on the back side. Okay, okay, so there's these guys. I want those around there. Right about like that. Okay, then what are we doing over here? Oh, that's controlling up here. Well, that's fine. Okay, so now we need to get these. A little like that. Oh boy. Oh my god. I think all these need to be bigger, actually. Yeah. Not those ones, though. Okay. Why are these two connected so closely? Ah. I thought this was making sense. I thought the sense was being made. Evidently not. Whew. It's like a 3D version of the Photoshop pen tool, but more random. Yeah, no kidding about that. Okay, okay. Put this over here, put this over here. Alright. Why? Holy banoli. Wow. Okay. So that's there. I think we can take that one out. And that one. And we'll just be fine with this one. Okay, we'll put that higher and back there. Delete this one. And this one, that one. Okay. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. Okay, okay. There we go. I finally found one of the groups I was trying to control. There that is. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm onto something, guys. Okay. You know, and this method does make it fairly organic. I won't lie. Okay, that's not doing it. I cannot for the life of me find this one. Whoop. What? What? Okay, so it's around here that's supposed to be happening. But nothing is affecting this one. This little guy here. Oh, holy banoli, Mo. This is so frustrating. So frustrating. Okay. Wow. Just. Wow. I think we'll make these even quite small, actually. There we go. It's good enough for now. Yeah, what is up with you? Why? Is it this? It is not that. Oh. Is this? Oh! There it is! There's our boy. We found him. We found him. Okay. At this point, you're probably right, Slippy. You're probably right. So now I want to find something out. Let's really just go and destroy all this work. I'm gonna save. And I want to know if adding a bunch more... yep, that messes up the graph. What a shame. What a crying shame. Okay. So we're sort of stuck with that. That's fine. Now we know. Okay, I want a random node. Good lord. How much work was that, guys? Jeez. Alright, we're gonna do a new version of this guy. what are we doing here? I want slight rotations. Nope. Nope. Alright, here we go. Rotate X. Not quite. Huh. Well, okay. I guess we'll just do a little bit here and there. Because I just don't want them to be quite as even, you know? That's pretty good in that direction. That's fine, and then I think maybe like that? Something like that. No, none of that. Okay, position Z. No, I want those fairly regular. I kind of want those regular too. Yeah, no, I want those all to stay the same. Okay. So. Okay. So. This is the reason why we did all this work. Finally gonna come to fruition here. I'm gonna make a duplicate of that as a backup. I'm gonna hide that, and then on the original, we're gonna do something silly. We're gonna rig this pod. So, we're gonna turn off this guy for now. And I want to make sure that when I move this, it goes with it. Good, okay. So that means nothing's broken yet, which is always nice to figure out before you move too much further. And then we're gonna center it like that because this is gonna kind of go in like that. And let's do a quick rig. So first things first, we're gonna delete the history on this. We're gonna freeze its transformations. That didn't do it. There we go, there we go. We're gonna save one more time, spastic saving. And we're gonna go to a top view. And I think we're gonna want 1 out here, 2 for the beginning of this. Probably 1, let's say about 8-ish. Yeah, let's do 10. We're gonna do 10. We're gonna overkill a little bit here. I'm gonna go into our rigging thing and break open the skeleton panel. We're just gonna create some joints. I'll put one here, there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should be plenty. One cool trick, if you are so inclined, is to put this into, I don't know what they call it, but I'm gonna call it like direct bone edit mode. Normally when you affect these bones, it takes the entire child chain down, but if you press insert, you can affect the joint independently. That's always nice. So we're gonna start with this guy. And I'm gonna put on X-ray bone joints so we can stay in our shaded view and still see these guys. And I want this first one to kind of snap to the origin point there, and then its center I want to be just right there. I think that'll be good. This is one of my favorites that he does. Okay. I also want wireframe shaded there. So we're just gonna drag out. For these first couple, I want them to match up pretty closely with the joints. I'm not going to do anything perfectly here, but as we get down here, I want a few more starting here. So we might have to make some more pretty quickly here. We're almost certainly going to have to make a couple more. Yeah. So I think we'll go for this one, and then we'll really start getting... Well, our objects are going to have to be considered as well, so maybe we won't make too many more. Okay, so 4 more. Let's do 4 more. Alright, then I want that. So parent, perfect. One thing I will do is go to no, let's actually affect the joints. And we'll select the hierarchy to get all the bone joints. Joint orient is fine, that's fine. Radius. Oh. Interesting. Maybe if I just select the parent one? Nope. Oh. Okay. Can't do it, guys. Okay. So object display, polygons, nerves, animation. What am I looking for? There's a way to change the size of the bones. Am I just gonna have to deal? I might just have to deal. Joint size. There we go. There we go. And I'm just gonna zoop it down to about 0.37. Okay. That just makes them easier to deal with. I think that's fine-ish. Move that up to more of a halfway point here. And we'll do the same on this one. So I'm going to be cutting in 2 more edges along here because I didn't plan quite well enough. Ooh! Woo! Oh god, okay. That's gonna be hard to watch, sorry guys. And we're just gonna line up with each of these. And that'll be a good time. And I think we're gonna start skipping as of the next one. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start skipping on this one. Go down to this one. So we need 2 more. That's fine. I want to... Is there just an add joint? Man, I guess insert joint. Well, screw it. 1 here, 1 there. Perfect. We'll take this guy, hold X to snap it to the grid, select this guy, and then we'll parent it, pressing P. Alright, then we're gonna skip that one and go to the next one here. And then our buddy down here is gonna go just at the very tippy top right here. Okay. Whew. Rigging. Wireframe unshaded and X-ray joints. So now we see one small problem. We need to pull this probably to that center line. So let's go to the side view here. Once again, X-ray joints. The benefit of using orthographic views is simply, we'll just do that. Is simply to have a non-perspective warped view of things. So this is, anyway, it just makes things a little more accurate when you're trying to line it up this way. You don't have to take into consideration all the perspective issues that you usually deal with. Okay, so now we're basically in the center of the volume of our shape, with the preference towards the side that we're going to be kind of moving inwards. And if this is all we were going to do, then I could go here and select the hierarchy, and we could do some silly things. Got some work to do! Alright, so we are going to do a couple things here. We're going along the z-axis, which... We're going the positive z-axis. I think that's what I want. Is that what I want? I think that's what I want. I want to roll with it. I'm going to open up the orient joint And I believe toggle axes. I wish to see all of the axes, not just the first one. So this is going to illustrate one of the things going on here. So all of them have X as their primary axis, except for this guy, which is one of the ones I appended, and this one and this one. So one thing we can do is unparent and unparent. We can orient this guy to the world, or we can do it this way, or, huh, interesting. Usually this works. Secondary axis world. Let's go with Z in the positive direction. And we'll use Y as our secondary. Oh, this is really strange, guys. Okay, well, we're just gonna do this silly thing and rotate it manually. So I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna freeze transformations before we put it back into the chain. Its joint orient is 0. It didn't actually freeze the transformations like I'd hoped it would. Now it's got a joint orient of 90, negative 90, which is not good. I want that to be 0, but that turns it that way. I'll tell you what. Let's try just reparenting it, and then orienting the entire change. Stop it. Parent, and we'll just give it the old college try here. So we will reset our settings and just see what happens. We did not actually reparent that. Apply. Okay. Well, that was definitely the easy way to do it. It reoriented itself based on the parents, which all have a primary axis of X, a secondary axis of Z, and an up axis of Y. The only obstinate ones are these two down here, which is strange. What's going on here? Okay. Joint orient 0 there is fine, and then do the same thing on this last one. Okay. So this whole process is to make sure that the chain is all one contiguous bone chain, as opposed to like your elbow going up at a 90-degree angle. You'd have some weird behaviors if that was the case. So to check our work, let's try doing that rotate thing again. And we see we get that nice curl right there. So that's expected behavior. Let's try the other axes. Expected. Expected. Good, good. And then this one's always weird. It doesn't quite do what you expect, but it is spiraling pretty nicely, so. Okay, with those tests out of the way, I think I can say that this is a good chain for our pod to work with. One thing we could do, which I'm considering, but I'm not going to, is to put this chain a little lower, like using soft select or something like that. I wonder if that even works. No, it does not. That's fine. Because one thing you could do is follow this line a little bit more accurately, but we'll have a bulge in both sides, so I'm just going to leave it because the volume is pretty much being preserved as much as possible. So there's a part of me that even wants to bring this up a little bit, but I think we're just going to roll with it. Okay. So with that all taken care of, I'm going to grab this and toggle those joints visibility. Select the hierarchy again. Toggle those off. Cool. Okay. Okay. So we still have this on there. That's all still there. That's going to come into play in a moment here, hopefully, if everything goes right. So grab this, open up our skin, which is the weirdest sentence you might hear from me in a while. Go to bind skin. There's a bunch of just stuff here. Really don't need to worry about it. I'm going to up the max influences to 4. And hopefully that'll mean down here gets a bit more work. We'll see how that goes. We're just going to bind the skin. So now, when we select the joint hierarchy, and we try doing this, we get our curl behavior. Hooray! So let's do a little bit, and then we'll select from here down, and we'll grab that same axis, and we'll just get a little bit more. So now when we turn this back on, we get that sort of behavior. I think that's pretty cool. And that'll work just whenever. So I think we wanted something akin to that. And then I think from here down, we do a little bit more. Yeah. X-ray joints, wireframe unshaded. Okay. And that's why I went through all the hassle of placing them in the mesh network instead of by hand, because now they are dynamically attached to this mesh. Hooray! Alright. So I think I'm going to do a little bit more work for posing. X-ray joints. I think this one would benefit from a bit more, maybe one down here. Go a bit more in there. I'm just going to go joint by joint, figuring out what I think is going to look best. Probably here is where I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. Yeah. Yas! Okay. And then I think like that will be good. Thank you! It really took a turn there for a while, didn't it? Alright, we're going to save this as a new version. Bit of a milestone. I love how it really doesn't look like anything for quite a while. Alright, we're going to hide that so we can't mess with it anymore. We probably want to place these a little differently. Maybe just make them smaller on the thing later, but for now, we're just going to deal. Let's see here. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. Alright, we're going to do some scary shenanigans and then undo it. There we go. If you guys ever figure out why these sets and mesh networks continuously multiply themselves, I would love to hear it, because I have no earthly idea. And it scares me. It seems like a big problem. Yeah, anyway. I am actually going to grab this joint and use it to place this guy in world space. So this is considered the master joint. Oh, that's having an interesting impact on things. So it's going to be hanging from the tree a bit like this. Maybe a little less extreme. Something... Let's look at our reference. Yeah. Okay. So, looks like we need to do a bit more work now to get this to look the way we expect it to. Maybe this one. I think we're a little flat there. No, not quite. This one? I think we'll flatten it out there. Flatten it out there, and then this one, I think is where the kink is coming from. Yeah, okay. And then we can select the hierarchy from here and undo it just the slightest bit. Because we could do that, and that would be fine, but I think we're gonna do a little bit here, go down 2 joints, select the hierarchy, and then do a little more, go down 2 joints, select the hierarchy, do 2 more joints, and really bring that home there. Get a little bit there, a little less there, something like that. And then we can go here, and probably there. Anyway, getting fussy. That's what I do best. So let's see if we can do the thing that I'm hoping we can do. And then this would hang down just ever so slightly like that, just because of its center of mass and stuff like that. Yeah. This isn't a one-to-one creation, but it's something. So let's go back to our original pyramid here, and let's give it a standard surface, which luckily this time applied to all of its MASH compatriots. Like to see that. Alright, I'll work on this, and for your guys' benefit, I have a couple things to do here. I need to get this going, and I need to get Arnold turned on. Render view. I'm gonna keep this down here. Oh. Okay. And I'm gonna turn on Arnold. Window. Okay. Turn it on. Perfect. Transition. And see if that works. No light in the scene, obviously. Okay. Just go for a sky dome. Cool. Okay, so that's gonna work. Now I need to go back to the other thing I brought up and keep Maya from eating up every single CPU I have. There we go. Okay, there we go. And we'll just put this guy in timeout. Intro, outro, perfect. And we'll give this one... Actually, we'll do our selection set. Oh! Look at that. Everything... Here. I'm gonna pause that. There we go. Once again, everything... Oh boy. Can you not, maybe? Oh my god, why? Why are you multiplying? Please stop. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Okay, it's every time I select them? That's a problem. That's a real problem. Okay. It is very weird. Quick select set. That's what I want. Quick select. I want the bark underside, and we're gonna... Oh my god. Alright. Sky Dome. Banished to a layer. Go away. Okay. It's only a problem that happens with quick select sets and with quick select sets and Mash Network. It's very strange. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone else being like bothered by it. I think it's just me. I'm not super sure about that, but yeah. Let's see, Arnold, AI standard surface. Let's go ahead and get the select, quick select of the slick side. Give that its own favorite standard surface. Slick AI standard. And I think I talked about putting the exact same shader onto these guys as this surface. That may end up happening, but that's not what we're doing right now, at the very least. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my hyper shader, wherever that ran off to. Here we go. And we're gonna do some work. Grab that. Okay. So as we apply them, I want that to happen. Let me check my task manager, make sure it's not eating up. Okay. The affinity is still set correctly. Good. Here we go. No, the rig is not the problem, sadly. If only. That's the bark side. That's the slick side. Excuse me? Did I misname that? No. Okay, we're good. So this is the bark AI standard. And that just leaves those guys. Good. Okay, petals. AI standard. Okay, save, because this is gonna be a problem soon. Okay, so in the render, I'm gonna go ahead and smooth that. There we go. Arnold will appreciate that. Whew. So for the first thing, I want to work on the petals, and I want to give it emission. This is the lazy way. Maybe a little less. We'll just go ahead and give it that nice yellow kind of situation. There we go. Maybe a little brighter. There we go. Okay. And let's see. I sort of have to come up with my own ideas on the slick side, so let's go ahead and graph that. Grab the slick side, and let's just start with some sort of preset. Well, honey would certainly be interesting, but I'm gonna start with a plastic. Plastic's a pretty standard way to start with these things. I'm gonna lower the roughness a little bit. I'm gonna lower the weight of the base color. I'm gonna change that color to something purple. A little less saturated. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to turn down the intensity of our shader. Yeah, now we're talking. How about 0.05? There we go. Now we're getting some good stuff. Save. Continue. Alright, petals. Let's increase the emission here. That's better. Hopefully that's coming through for you guys. Looks like it is. Okay, doke. And then the outside bark, we're gonna make somewhat simple. What would be a good starting point here? Is there like a rock? I want something... Maybe ceramic. Let's go with ceramic. That's gonna be pretty close. And then we can turn down the specularity way almost off. Pretty darn close to off, and up the roughness a lot. Okay. Is there any subsurface? There was subsurface on that one. Sneaksy. No coat, no sheen, no emission, no transmission. Okay. And then for this, we'll give it some sort of, let's do something a little bit more creative. Let's get a 2D texture. Let's do a mountain. set that into the base color. Put this to sort of a blackish red, kind of a brackish thing. Desaturate the crap out of it. Maybe there. Same thing for this guy, except I want it darker. That's pretty good. Turn down the amplitude. No, keep the amplitude up. Oh boy, no, it's... Exactly. Yeah, this is where we just tweak things for a while. Right about there. Snow drop off. That's getting better. Get that. Oh, well. Let's go with that. Let's see. I don't really want too much noise though. The color balance. Color gain. That's gonna change things. There we go. That's more what I'm talking about. Color offset. Whoop. Woo. Okay. Maybe we leave that one alone. The time and a half, I can tell you that much, absolutely. We'll turn the alpha gain down. No, we won't. It's fine. Alpha is luminance. No, that's fine. Okay. Okie dokie. And then for the placement, I'm sort of expecting... Usually there's some effect that's letting you... Oh. Interesting. Fear. Oh, look at that. Interesting. Ooh, there's a color remap function. I wonder what that's all about. Alright, well let's just deal with that and see what happens. And then here, that should be being pumped in there. And for some reason... Oh no, it's showing up. Okay. There's just not really enough light. Okay, I see. I think in that case, I should probably up the color gain. Yeah, that'll do it. And then let's go ahead and repeat these textures 3 times since our geometry is real low. Maybe even more. Let's go to 5. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay. And then we'll just turn up the intensity a smidgeluno on this one to 0.06, 0.07. 0.1? I think we'll stick with that. Okay, and then just for funsies, I think we're going to create a cube. Bring that up here. In your own time, Maya. Alright. I think what I want to do is delete the top face. Come on. My eye's getting real slow. Okay, tell you what, I am going to take these 2 faces and just delete them. We'll take this entire object, go back into our modeling mode, and reverse the faces. Perfect. Something like that. And then much smaller. So I just want to get some of that glow onto the side walls there. Okay. I think that might be where we call it for this one. I'm gonna let that render out for a hot second here and save. We'll go ahead and do like a save image situation, see what's going on. How you guys feeling about this? I'm feeling pretty good. Alright. Looking solid. Like to hear that. Oh. Take a screenshot. Alright. So we're really going to push our luck here. I'm going to up everything for the final render while we're talking here, because my computer is a glutton for punishment. What can I say? We'll put this up to 4, get a little bit more diffuse. And a little bit of specularity as well. Okay. And we're just going to sit here and watch this render. I think I need to restart that. Oop, really wish I hadn't done that. Okay. Oop. There we go. Alright, so we're just gonna turn that off and full screen it. I'm just gonna chill here for a little while. Okay, maybe the Arnold interview, it's time for you to head out. Yeah. And then the reference image I think we can take out as well. Okay. That's definitely an exotic fruit. That's what we're going for. Happy to hear that. Like it so far, it's really coming together. The design of it looks even better in 3D for me anyways. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. Obviously, I want to do some picky placement of these elements. So that'll be something we need to figure out. But I think after that, mostly it would be about upping the resolution of the housing fruit and then doing textures that way. I think I'm kind of a fan of the way these two materials are interacting with one another. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, I never did try to do the Arnold light thing. I think we might just leave that one alone. Oh, man. Maybe change the size of the petals too? I don't think it needs the Arnold light. Yeah, I don't think so either. How would you change the scale of the petals? Would you want them smaller or larger, or? Kind of curious. I think these two right here are standing out a little bit. I would definitely do something about that. But maybe down here could be smaller, larger. Yeah. Gotcha. Yep. I do think the basic premise is good, though. I think it's going to be a good one. Okay, good notes, though. I definitely agree. The center ones are definitely a little out of place. Sweet. Okay, while this renders out, I am gonna try to set up the next project while we're waiting. Oh boy, we're gonna be working a lot in Illustrator, so it's gonna be a bit of a left turn. There we go. Okay, digital content, professional. It's like watching paint dry, this render, I swear. Okay, so we're gonna need sources, we're going to need an AE folder and an export folder. There we go. So I could possibly cover up the pedals a bit? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, getting this ridge to kind of wrap up and over a bit. And I'm thinking I would take this line and make it where this line is, and that would bring the supporting angle much higher up, allowing us to sort of use it as the wrapping up angle. I think that would make this texture work better. It would read a bit more like an exterior skin, whereas this would be like the coconut interior skin is what I'm feeling. Definitely. What's the timestamp on this? Oh! Oh. Well, that's not great. I forgot to record this second half when I came back. Oh boy. Oh, that's gonna suck. I think Twitch is gonna have a VOD of it, and I can export that to YouTube, but usually I take the music off for the YouTube ones so that I don't get, demonetized and all that. So it's probably just gonna be without audio on YouTube. So, oopsie poopsie. That's gonna be a bad time. Oh, that's where all the good stuff was too. Dang it. Well, no turning back now. Okay, so I'm gonna do Illustrator. We're gonna create new. No worries. We'll be okay. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get away with it in terms of there it is. I think it'll be okay. Would Arnold Light even make a difference? If it works, yes. The thing about it is that Arnold doesn't really play well with emission. It treats it... I forget how it treats it, but you really have to up the sample rate in order for it to even look halfway decent. Like, this still has a bunch of graininess to it. And, yeah, there's just a lot of, like, Arnold-specific things that emission doesn't do well with. And so they did an Arnold mesh light to kind of deal with that. And it's got all the same settings you would have on a normal light, which would be the sampling rate, the exposure, intensity, a couple of key aspects. But this I think is going to be enough for what we want to do. But if you were to do like a production environment, you really wouldn't be using exposure or emission, I think. Not to say people don't do it, but it's not as well supported in Arnold. And there's an upper limit to the amount of emission you can get before it starts to look really weird. Whereas with an Arnold light, you have a similar problem, but it's better handled, I would say. Let's see here. How do I get rid of these guys? Perspective grids, guides, height guides? Nope, that's not it. Well, it looks like we're fully rendered now. Let me take a screenshot here. Okay, save image options. Always apply gamma exposure. Save image. My general images. Perfect. This is our tree fruit thing. Cool. And then I'm going to double check that just because you never know with Maya. Yeah. Okay, it looks the same. Good. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, it's a silly thing, but it's what we gotta deal with, so that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break while I finish setting up and stretch a bit. And then I'll be back to do some Illustrator work, which is gonna be some vector art for the MoGraph thing I'm gonna work on maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. And then that'll probably be it for the stream after that. I'm not even sure we're gonna hit a full... Yeah, we'll see. I might go till 9. We'll see. A lot of iffiness is there. But I'll definitely be back. We're gonna get started on the Illustrator vector art. And yeah. So, stick around.